Hey guys, I am Lana. This is from Corporate to Crystals. We're back for another video. This video is just going to be me talking about like I think two trends, like really intense energetic trends. The first one I'm just going to be like really straight up about because there's just not tons to say about it other than this, but like the first one is I have had a wave of divine masculines contacting me and telling me that they are awakening to their connections. Shout out to you guys, you know who you are. And I gotta be real, like it has been so beautiful. Because at first, like, I was like, is this just a straggler, But no, it's become a trend. So I wanted to call it out. That doesn't mean that your masculine is awakening. That doesn't mean that anything changes with you at all. In fact, you and your intuition and your path is taking you. You're perfect to wherever you're at. But as somebody who gets kind of visibility on the trends in this way, I wanted to call it out because it's so exciting. Like, it's so cool to know, first of all, like how incredible some of these men are, or all of them. But at the same time, like they know, like they know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like they don't, it's cool. Like I just thought it was really cool. So I wanted to share it. Shout out to any divine masculines. I'm like really, really proud of you guys because in a world that doesn't let, you guys be in touch with your emotions, let alone your intuition, let alone like walk kind of like other than in a very specific male way or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a man. I have no clue what I'm talking about. But you get my point. Like it feels like I just feel very proud and like I was very honored to not only like communicate with them, but also just to meet them. Like they have such beautiful energy and like they seem like they are in their power and they are figuring some stuff out. So that was an exciting trend. I know I've had a few of you guys reaching out to me to like ask about your connections and how like you've been feeling. So I just wanted to make sure so you guys don't reach out to me anymore. Like I am hearing from divine masculines in the collective and they are awakening to their connections. Keep in mind we're in waves, right? So it's not everybody's. Excuse me, but people who are in like the first wave or whatever, like if you have been feeling that way about your connection, there's a potential that this is a validating message for your intuition. That's it. I don't want to send people down like spirals when they're not even close to like inner union, let alone physical. But at the same time, I want to give people like validation that this is a trend and there are masculines stepping up in their power and awakening to the connections of whatever kind. So really cool. Wanted to share it. That's that. Now, the other thing is I've had like a really insane week and a half, let's call it. My most recent video was obviously me doing some purging work and having some like really mind-blowing experiences. And I'm not kidding when I say that like they just wouldn't stop. Like it's almost like whatever I purged out like released a floodgate and I have been getting download after download after download like every single day. And like huge moments. Like this feels like the biggest moment I've had in a really long time, as well as like that moment when you find out you're going through a spiritual awakening and kind of figure out what that even means. Huge moment, right? Then the moment you figure out you're a twin flame and you like actually believe it and you start figuring out what that means, and that's like a huge moment. This is like number 3, like right behind that. I just had such a wild experience and I cannot wait to process through the last week and a half to get some videos out because I now understand like they're all clicking together. Like it makes more sense what's going on. It started with the moon and it took me very different places. So I wanted to just say that like really wild experience, but it has been so cool. Like, I basically just saw how everything fits together from micro to macro in my own life in this really beautiful way. And yeah, so more to come on that. But I wanted to talk about one of the days during this last week and a half. It was Friday the 13th. And I remember I kept seeing posts about like Friday the 13th, and it's like the day of the divine feminine and day of the goddess and day of the feminine. And I'm a skeptic. Like, this whole journey, I have had to remain neutral and skeptical of everything, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. Oh, sorry if you can hear my dryer. I kind of like that song. Sorry, I had to finish it. But anyways, I call one of my closest friends, and who also is on a spiritual path, so would like understand when I'm talking about what I'm going through. And as I'm talking to her, and we've been kind of like on our spiritual paths parallel to one another, but like they weren't overlapping. We felt like we had totally different mission work. Like, it felt like it was choppy. It didn't make total sense. It felt like we were going alongside one another. It did not feel like we were on the same path. And that was fine. I thought that was beautiful. I thought it was cool because I was learning a totally different type of path or whatever. So all of a sudden, like, I'm explaining what I had been kind of like getting downloaded and what I've been going through. And this is on Friday the 13th. And as this is happening, we get into a conversation about like her and just kind of like sharing what she's up to and what's going on with her. And I could feel I started channeling at some point, and I really couldn't fully tell you what I said. That's how channeling works, at least for me. Like, I get kind of blacked out. And so sometimes when I rewatch my videos, I'm like, what are you saying? And that's kind of how this moment felt. Like, it felt like I was straight channeling to her information that needed to be said. But if you asked me to repeat it, I couldn't. But what came out basically was that in that moment, my soul recognized that she is on a twin flame journey. And her soul was recognizing, holy shit, you're right. Right? So it was this really wild exchange, unexpected, completely out of left field. Someone that I've been on a parallel path with, now all of a sudden we're on the same path. Like, the whole time we were on the same path, but the information was finally like popped for both her and I to understand like how integrated our paths actually are. And like how beautiful it is that this whole time that she's been supporting me through starting this channel and like supporting twins, and I wouldn't have made it through my awakening without this person. And so to know that, and to know like how incredible it has been to have any light worker on a parallel path to me, as I'm going through this for support reasons. I wouldn't have the strength and the validation if I didn't have that, right? But then to find out, both of us together, that she's actually on the exact journey that she's been like encouraging me to start a channel about and stuff. Really, really wild. Really incredible. But what was the most incredible part about that is she then found out on Friday the 13th that she is a divine feminine on the twin flame journey, right? And I just thought that was so, if there was any way for that day to get like wilder or better for me, or for us, frankly, that day really proved to me how powerful Friday the 13th, the day of the divine feminine, really, how significant it really was. And so I wanted to share that too, because I just thought it was a really cool story. That conversation activated her, and I'm sure some of you saw my post. Unfortunately, that activation actually like was so intense for her body. She had like pressure in her back and her chest and whatnot. And so she went into the ER because she wanted to make sure she was okay, and she was having like a lot of physical pressure and pain and having a difficult time breathing and whatnot. And so, of course, we were like, oh my gosh, like, thank God she's okay. But at the same time, like, how crazy that it had to have been assumption symptoms. And it had to have been from that activation the night before. And when we kind of like reflected on it after we knew she was okay and everything, the weirdest part about it is that I was in the hospital for very similar symptoms in the ER exactly 1 year to the day before her. And we figured out that she just ascended to the 7th dimension. So the activation that happened to her, finding out she's a twin flame on a twin flame journey, that activation actually like got her into the 7th dimension. So that activation like expanded her consciousness to the 7th dimension. And what I realized is 1 year prior, when I went into the ER, it was actually for the exact same thing. When I activated into the 7th dimension, the exact same symptoms on the exact same day, and her and I have the exact same birthday. So really wild experience. And yeah, I just wanted to share it because like that's just like a little bit of what's been going on the last like week and a half, but the stories are just so cool that I wanted to share them and make sure like to document it, not only for you guys, but for myself as well. So yeah, I just wanted to start getting a couple of them out. So Day of the Divine Feminine, Friday the 13th. I was skeptical. I will be celebrating next year. And I hope you guys consider it too. Let the information come to you the same way I did. And if you ask, it will come from my experience. So really, really cool. Wanted to share it. I hope you guys are all doing really well out there. And I will see you guys on the next video. Okay, bye.